Hey everyone, Haggy here. Welcome to another competitive analysis of a future Mega Evolution coming in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. This will be a Mega Altaria analysis, and honestly, I'm actually pretty excited for this poke. I know I probably didn't seem like it on the other video, but I was kind of riding that Salamence hype train, but right now we are off at a stop here and we found Altaria at it. So, Altaria, let's look at this son here. Let's look at this son of a gun. This is a fluffy son of a gun. And what do we know comes with fluffiness? High defense. This Pokemon's going to be receiving buffs to its attack stat, its special attack stat, and defense. The first thing that really comes to my mind there is either a tank set or a kind of more powerful defensive wall. And if this gives us a defensive wall mega, as far as I'm aware, or at least in my opinion, this would be the first true wall of a mega that you can actually have on your team. Which would definitely be interesting, because I haven't really ever thought of megas as a wall Pokemon for your team. I think what Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is really going to do for the metagame is no longer make megas where they're pretty much just a Pokemon that you use for an all-out sweeper on your team, but more support, more wall Pokemon. It's an interesting concept. Now, during this, our little Altaria decided to drop its flying type, as you can not tell by the fact it's flying right now. It picked up a fairy type instead, giving it a numerous amount of resistances. Dragon Fairy. That is a strong typing right there. That is a strong typing right there. Great for a defensive wall or a tank. Altaria is going to be a threat. I will tell you right now, Altaria will be a threat. What tier would I predict it to be moved to, though? I think the highest it's going to make is UU. I think that's a pretty safe bet. The highest it's going to make is UU, which I honestly think should be fine for Altaria, because that is higher than it's ever seen before. There's all those resistances and well, it doesn't actually have a lot of weaknesses. It only has ice, poison, and steel. As far as I can tell right now, I might have missed something there, and I'm sorry for that. But it has a monstrous amount of resistances. This thing, I know I keep saying that, but I'm just telling you right now, I just can't overemphasize how many resistances this little sucker's got. So he will definitely make an interesting addition to your team, especially if you want to build a wall pull around him. I don't want to have to mess with that. So this is my first suggested set for him. It is a complete wall set, pretty much. I'm going to be running him at max HP, max defense, and 4 in special attack. I didn't write that down because I figured that was kind of self-explanatory. You'd also put that 4 in special defense if you really felt like it, but I guess I don't see why. Now, I know I forgot to mention this a second ago, but Mega Altaria's ability is Pixelate. I think that's very interesting for it, because that's going to give it some really powerful moves. Those normal type moves suddenly becoming a stab fairy type move will be very interesting. Now, what we're going to run in our Altaria here is, besides the bold nature here, which will give it minus attack plus defense. Yep, that's right. It will be running Roost for its health recovery. Hyper Voice, so it has an attack that can hit through subs, so no one can really try to set up on you that much. Heal Bell to support your team even more by getting rid of all the statuses on your team. And either Cotton Guard to set itself up on the field, so that way it's a complete and total defensive wall, or Haze for even more, stopping your opponent from setting up pretty much. It's stopping this Altaria from being any chance of being set up body, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know if this will be the most mainstream set for it, but it is probably the set that I would suggest most highly. It's probably the set that I'm going to try out for it immediately too. I mean, to be honest with you, I just don't see Altaria being this huge threat on the offensive side, but like as a kind of either a tank or as a wall. I honestly think it's going to revolutionize some of the metagame at least. My second set is a bulky, tanky special attacker set. We still got that max HP. We're going to slap on some special attack there though, max special attack. We're going to have our Pixelate ability, of course. We're going to be running a Modest Nature. We're going to have Draco Meteor, but you can feel free to switch out for that Dragon Pulse if you want to. I feel pretty comfortable doing that, but I figure Draco hits a lot harder. but since it is a tank and it wants to stay in sometimes, Dragon Pulse might be the way to go on that. Hyper Voice for that powerful fairy stab that's going to hit through subs. Flamethrower and Ice Beam for coverage. There's definitely other options you can put on there, but this would be the one I'd suggest for that. I definitely think this one will see a lot more use though than my first set probably. This will probably be how it's used if it's in a lower tier than UU. If it is in UU though, I can't really predict on that one. But I think this will probably be the flagship set, if not the next set that I'm going to go ahead and show. But this one's got the most coverage, it really highlights Altaria's new stats, and as a tank, I think Altaria will really shine. Oh wait, one quick thing though, feel free to take one of these off right there, and put Roost on this sucker for recovery to make it last even longer. Our final one will be a Dragon Dancing Altaria set. Now this already exists as the base Altaria. Altaria itself does already have a Dragon Dancing set. D-Dance Altaria is a thing. But the question is, will D-Dance Mega Altaria be a thing? I can't answer that without seeing its stats necessarily, but I think it will. So on that prediction, we're going to go ahead and make a set for that. We're going to be running max attack, max speed, Pixelate, a Jolly Nature to get us that extra little edge of speed that we may or may not need, I don't know, but I'm guessing it's not going to get much faster at all. We're going to be running Dragon Dance, of course. Return for that powerful Fairy Stab, base 102, Stab, Fairy. That is scary. Did not mean to rhyme that. We're running either Dragon Claw or Outrage, depending on how you feel about that one. If your opponent doesn't have a fairy on their team, Outrage might be the better option, but if you don't like locking yourself into a move, Dragon Claw. And finally, we have the Earthquake for coverage, which will allow us to hit Steel types for super effective damage, hit Rock types for super effective. Earthquake's just a great coverage move with a high base power. Honestly, I think Mega Altaria is going to be a good Pokemon, but I don't know if it will be a metagame changing Pokemon. I hope it is, I really do. I really hope this thing gets really popular, because it's got a really neat design. Hats off to you, Pokemon, on this one, and that power is going to be packing? Well, I think it's going to be impressive. Go ahead and leave down in the comments, by the way, what you think about Mega Altaria, its design, and what you think will be best used for. It's definitely going to be a great discussion to have down there, and without further ado, everybody, you have a great day.